I am Geeta Kaur, PGT English. I am going to explain the poem Keeping Quiet by Pablo Neruda. Pablo Neruda is considered one of the greatest and most influential poets of the 20th century. In 1971, he won the Nobel Prize for Literature. Now I will give a brief gist of the poem. That is what the poet is trying to say in this poem. The poet emphasizes the need for quiet introspection and promotion of brotherhood among people. In the present day, where life is very fast, people are overambitious and materialistic. As a result, they don't have time even for themselves. They seem to have lost proper perspective in their lives. They do unwanted activities and mindless activities which causes more harm than good to them and to others. So the poet advises quiet introspection. He wants man to stop unwanted mindless activity and indulge in pleasant idleness and relaxation and bond with people across the globe. Now I will go through the poem. I'll read the poem first, paragraph wise, and explain it. Now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. For once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. Let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. The poet suggests that he will count till 12. Now 12 here could represent 12 hours or 12 months. It is actually the initiation of meditation. So all can be quiet and introspect. Introspect means to think about your own activities, to analyze your own deeds. The poet does not want anyone to talk in any language of words or involve in any physical activity to disturb the calmness. He wants everyone to be very silent, very quiet. In the last line of the paragraph, and not move our arms. Arms is a figure of speech, pun, which has two meanings. Arms means limbs and it also means weapons. In this case, the poet wants people to stay quiet, not move their arms, and definitely not the weapons also. Now, in the second stanza, it would be an exotic moment without rush, without engines. We would all be together in a sudden strangeness. Now, when people are all quiet, this moment of total silence will be exotic. That is, it will be very rare, extraordinary, and most desirable, as it will promote brotherhood and togetherness. There will be absolute peace and calm across the globe. There will be no rush, no noise of engines, and in these strange and unfamiliar moments, the bonds of humanity will become stronger, as all will be together doing nothing. Now, in the third stanza, fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the man gathering salt would look at his hurt hands. The fisherman in the sea kills fishes and whales. Now, during this time of silence, during this time of inactivity, the whales will be saved, as the fishermen will not kill whales and fishes. It will help conserve nature, prevent its over exploitation. The salt gatherers will also have time to give rest to their wounded hands. Both nature and humans will have some time to recover from their wounds. In the fourth stanza, those who prepare green wars, wars with gas, wars with fire, victory with no survivors, would put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers in the shade, doing nothing. In the fourth paragraph, the poet speaks of those who wage wars against humanity and environment. Wars of all kinds, that is, chemical wars or use of poisonous gases or bombs that brings death and destruction to nature and humans, leaving no survivors to celebrate the victory. The poet wants these warmongers to change their ways, to put on clean clothes, and learn to coexist in peaceful atmosphere and live harmoniously with others. What I want should not be confused with total inactivity. Life is what it is about. Now, in this, life is what it is about, I want no truck with death. In this paragraph, the poet says that his appeal for silence and inactivity does not mean complete inactivity, because complete inactivity is attained only in death, and he wants no association, no connection with death. All he means is that man should stop mindless, unwanted activity. He should not indulge in overactivity. He wants man to stop that. He does not want any link, any association with death. In the next paragraph, if we were not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving and for once could do nothing, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. Now, in this paragraph, according to the poet, man is very self-centered. He is selfish and ambitious. He thinks of his own progress only. In pursuing his ambitions and fulfilling his desires, he tends to forget and forego his emotional bondings, his emotional needs and satisfactions. This leads him to isolation and sadness. He fails to understand his own emotional needs, fails to see what is good for him and what is causing harm, like excessive work pressure leads to stress and anxiety. His materialistic pursuits bring disease and death. He needs to introspect, to analyze the worth of his activities. He should indulge in activities which are fruitful, which are good for him, good for his health, good for his emotions. He should try to understand himself. Otherwise, his own activities will threaten his life. Perhaps the earth can teach us, as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. Here the poet says, perhaps the earth can teach us, because the earth seems to be very quiet and still. But still, how life appears from its apparent stillness also. The seeds which appear to be dead, very silent in the soil, they sprout and beautiful trees bearing fruit grow from it. They are born from those seeds. So the poet says that the earth can teach us the art of preserving and resurrecting life on earth. In his last lines, now I'll count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. Now the poet tries to tell here that he will count till 12 so that people can keep quiet and introspect. He has given the message he intended to give them. And now, when people introspect, he will proceed further to spread his message elsewhere, because he has already given the message of introspection and brotherhood to the people. Thank you.